Welcome to the Gulenko.com Business and Recruitment Show. Today's episode is about standard operating procedures, or SOPs. I myself have very, very little of them in my recruitment company right now because the majority of tasks I've been doing myself and just worked with assistants. But now more and more, I'm trying to teach people what I've been doing for the last 10 years and somewhat successfully, because we are one of the few firms that is still alive in this very bad market. Today I had the situation that the candidate would give feedback like, hey, you text me like a question and then immediately you call me. And the collaboration with you recruiting guys from Gulenko.com was quite pleasant, but this one thing just like, I feel like pressured. And then I understood that like our intention was actually to follow, so basically to let the person know why we are calling. So my instruction to my workers was, hey, so you have a question to the candidate, and instead calling because they don't know what is it about, just text it before, because they will maybe read it and then they will know, oh, this is about that, so I'll pick up, it's fine. And if they don't pick up because they are busy, they will see the questions. So in both cases, you kind of did something, right? You went forward. While if you just cold is not anymore. It's we're talking about no active interview processes. So it's it's like just some, or usually administrative thing, like, okay, a reference letter is missing, or when the person can show up for an interview and so on. Oh, then I was like, okay, if you just call, they don't know what is it about. So they are then, it's like this passive situation. It's like, okay, should I call back? What is it about and stuff? So I today understood this. My instruction was really bad, because what I meant and what I myself usually do is obviously to write hey, I'm calling now to ask this. And yeah, my, people that work with me, they did not do, they, made the text very short. And I understood, well, this is completely changing of obviously the dynamic, and the candidate is completely correct in giving us this honest and completely correct, understandable, and feedback that helps us. So now I wrote a 3-point message describing exactly what I want from them. This took me actually quite some time. It's step 1, right? You have a question to the candidate. Okay. Right. The following. This is step 1. I am now calling to ask you X. And then it's also how do you call them? And I wrote down, use first tool number 1 and tool number 2. So we even the way, which tool we use. It's not clear. To me, it's clear, but to them, it's not. So, okay. So regular phone or WhatsApp, if you have it, right? It's okay, try both. But first the regular phone, because the way, the probability to go through is higher, while WhatsApp is better audio quality. So if you have a longer discussion, maybe that is more pleasant for both parties involved. So see, there is immediately something trivial. You're using all the recruiting, everybody can do it. But there's actually there are many things that will influence the situation. This sounds trivial maybe to people who have never done it, but the real life is the real life, Okay, so this step 2, you ask the question mentioned in point 1, step 1. Okay. And then after you had the question answered, you write if there is a group discussion or group email, group message thing, you say, thanks for the call, comma, as discussed, XXXX. So this is the result. So I see that the person was called and asked the thing, right? So I see the things moving forward. So, and if this is branch, if the person picks up, then the branch of person not picking up is a different one. It's okay, quote, if it's a chat, then quote the question and say, please call back by clicking. And then you put the number. And if it's a messaging app, the other person can just click to call. To that level of detail, I'm describing now how to do stuff. Because otherwise, like if there's like the number to click, if you don't put it, people might not, where is the calling function? It could happen, right? So I have to think, okay, what's the exact maximum level of detail that I need to put down in order to make people understand what I want? And then this is the instruction. So it's like it's like basically step 1, step 2, step 3. So step 2 and 3, this is like if pick up the call, you do this. If the person doesn't pick up, you do another thing. Actually, I remember now, I forgot, because there's like a 4th step, like in 2 hours, if there's no reply, you have to follow up, right? And this is like, would be the next step. I'm just putting that as we speak, next one. And then it's like, follow up. And then follow up when? My feeling is like 2-3 hours, right? So I've never done these things. Like my feeling is, this is why McDonald's is a good business, right? They really nail it. It's like, okay, you have to cut the tomato in 5 pieces. If you cut the tomato in 4 pieces or 6, you're basically let go. You didn't follow the standard operating procedure for tomato cutting it's very simple, 5 pieces, not 4, not 6. So that's why people there are like, you can hire people with any, education level. And the salary is also not fantastic at McDonald's, right? But apparently it's super pleasant to work there, because there's every single step is exactly defined. The duration of the cooking of the meat and da. Whereas in a small restaurant where the chef is like a genius, there's nothing written down. The chef just does the stuff, and it's maybe good, maybe bad. And if you hire somebody like this, somebody hired, they have complete chaos to deal with. And this is the majority of companies. This is why the majority of companies is not McDonald's, but just random math in the sense of operations. Yeah, we talked about this before. Like small businesses, they don't have this giant margins, so all energy is used on clients, working with clients. That's why software engineering companies, their websites suck because they don't have time. That's why accounting companies, they do their own accounting and taxes late 2 years. This is a literal quote from a premium accounting service that I talked to once. Yeah, and this is because you would think, oh, that's stupid. Or recruiters, recruiting agency like me, I have issues hiring myself for myself. I have big issues. It's really just very time consuming. And you would think, oh, this is dumb. This means they are not good at what they do. But no, it's because the moment you do the stuff for yourself, it goes in the category of operations and not in money making. That's why it's different. It's immediately in your head, in your budget. Regarding time and money is a different completely category than working for a client where there's a invoice at the end. So there's that. So standard operating procedures, if anybody knows a good resource to learn on that, let me know. How much detail, right? Where to put it. So people really don't forget, because I can repeat many times, hey, this is super important, do not forget. But people will still forget, right? I forget. So, how can I expect this from people working for me, right? So this is a big topic. If you get this one right, no matter what business you run, you'll do well, right? Because you have exactly clearly defined steps where there's no guesswork. Because guesswork is something that is very dangerous. It can only be done by people who have the context, intelligence, experience, motivation, and incentives like you. And there's nobody like that. This would be then you, right? So this will not be people that work for you for an hourly rate. So therefore, in my opinion, the standard operating procedures, they usually are not precise enough, because it really takes a long time to formulate them correctly. And the funny thing is, after I wrote this 3-step thing, I followed up with an audio message. Because I'm thinking, okay, maybe something is unclear. So I repeated everything in spoken audio. And on the next team meeting, I will repeat it again. I will say the same thing. Hey, have you understood this? Like blah blah blah. Because I notice now, like like in software engineering, it's a bit different because people are more used to like just written stuff. So they're like, like, okay, this is like, documentation and this is code. So they are like, their brain functions much more in this direction of like reading all the time. But the majority of people is not like that. The majority of people, they need like the stuff in audio. That's why audiobook is such a big thing. Yeah, because people can really consume information in this way. Yeah, I mean, if you imagine a small kid, like the mother speaks to the kid, right? So here it's like the same. And the number of repetitions, it can't be enough. Yeah, so as a like business owner, founder, prepare yourself that like have to repeat things like very many times, and at some point it will stick. But if you don't do this, nobody will like teach your people what to do. And this also puts you in a position where you are the one like guiding the structure of the company and the way to communicate. And it's a thing that not, that I understand if people don't like this. Especially like technical people, they like more to code. They really like, I know a couple of examples where like the technical founders would like hire a CEO who does that because they don't want to do this. They would rather do something technical, interesting. So if you don't like doing this, you are not alone. This is like normal. Because like smart people, they don't like telling others what to do. They just want to do stuff and not deal with like babysitting grown-ups, basically. But sometimes a company is exactly about that. And there's nothing wrong or bad about it. It's just how things are. And I myself will now like try to find resources on SOPs and how to get them like into your company in the most efficient way. Because this is like another thing, like you have like super limited time. You can't just like, for 3 days now, I will write like standard operating procedures. So you cannot afford this. All right. So with all that said, I wish you a good day and see you soon.